It's what you, baby, I'm the sad shit.
My oh my! Kim Kardashian sure knows how to stir the pot because, baby, she's got everyone talking right now. But this time, it's not about her latest business venture or some wild red carpet moment. It's about her own daughter, North West. Yup, the internet is in a frenzy after Kim had her 12-year-old step out in a push-up corset, and the big question flying all over social media is Kim actually trying to market her daughter like a brand instead of letting her just be a kid? Critics are calling her out left and right, saying the styling was way too grown for someone North's age. And people aren't holding back either. They're pointing out that Kim didn't exactly rise to fame through the most innocent route. So now the accusations are coming in hot, with many suggesting she's already putting North to work as part of her empire.
So 12-year-old Northwest and her mom was out in Rome having dinner the other night, and yeah, this is what she had on. She's 12 years old. She's 12. Walking around with a corset, the shortest mini skirt that you could have, and bright blue hair. Sometimes I really be thinking Northwest is older than Blue Ivy, but then I have to go check because I'll be looking like this girl wore makeup first. She wore hair color first. She wore lace front, everything first. But Blue Ivy is actually a year older than her.
That's the kind of talk that's making this whole thing explode online. And hold up, because the drama didn't stop there. Beyonce's name has suddenly been thrown into the mix. Can you believe it? Rumors are swirling that Queen Bey herself allegedly shaded Kim, hinting that she's exploiting her daughter for attention. Whether that's true or not, just the idea of Beyonce versus Kim has people going crazy, because when two powerhouse names get tangled in the same headline, the internet can't look away. Now let's break it down, because you probably saw those pictures of North in that structured corset-style bodice matched with a ruffled miniskirt and finished off with edgy steampunk-inspired boots. Fashion-wise, the look was fire, no denying that. But when folks realized it was a 12-year-old rocking it, a lot of jaws dropped instantly. People were like, this is way too much for her age. And honestly, whether you think it's harmless fun or crossing the line, one thing's for sure. This sparked one of the messiest debates Kim has faced in a long time. And it didn't take long before parents all over the internet started sounding the alarm. Moms and dads were furious, saying Kim's outfit choices for North were straight up age inappropriate. And they weren't just talking about fashion taste, they were worried about the bigger picture. The main complaint? Those form-fitting elements on a 12-year-old's outfit felt way too grown, and even child development experts stepped in to warn about the psychological toll of putting a kid in the spotlight like this during such critical years. That's when things really started heating up. The video Kim posted was already blowing up, but once she turned off the comments, oh baby, that's when it exploded on X. People took the conversation there, and the comments were wild. One person wrote, a 12-year-old in a corset and push-up bra, and her mom is cool with it? This is exactly why you have to be careful who you have babies with. Another chimed in with an even sharper jab. Her mom is infamous for a tape, and her dad doesn't even let his wife wear clothes in public. Of course she's 12 in a push-up bra. And then came the line that shook people. Kim is selling her daughter just like her mom did with her. Must be a family tradition, Hugh. Brutal, but let's be real. This isn't the first time Kim's styling choices for North sparked outrage. People were quick to pull receipts, pointing out that this has been a pattern for years. As far back as 2014, when North was barely a year old, Kim was already dressing her in matching designer looks, almost like she was her own fashion accessory. Then, at Paris Fashion Week's GCI show, people couldn't believe their eyes when North was spotted in a risque black lace ensemble. By 2018, when she was only 5, Kim posted a photo of North in a skimpy yellow bikini top, and fans went crazy in the comments. And it didn't stop there. Flash forward to 2022, North was once again styled in a satin corset at her Aunt Courtney's Italian wedding, and the internet tore Kim apart all over again. So, when critics say this is part of a long-running pattern, they mean it. Each time, Kim seems to push the envelope further, and each time, the backlash only gets louder. And then came another jaw-dropping moment. When North turned 12, the family jetted off to Mexico for a birthday trip. But instead of just a sweet celebration, it was North's appearance that went viral. People were floored at how different she looked compared to her cousin, even though they're the same age, and the pictures had everyone buzzing. But with this latest corset outfit, fans are saying Kim has finally crossed the line and the backlash is louder than ever. And here's where it gets even messier. Now, Kanye's name is being dragged right into the chaos. Social media is flooded with people calling on him to step in and protect North from being styled in ways they feel are way too grown. But here's the kicker. What exactly do people expect Kanye to say when his own wife, Bianca, has been parading around in outfits that make headlines almost every week? The double standard is wild. Let's not forget, Bianca has been spotted in sheer stockings as pants in Paris, and remember that time she went completely nude under a see-through raincoat in LA? The paparazzi shots were everywhere. And it didn't stop there. She also rocked a barely there nude mesh top with no bra, flashing everything as she strolled through the streets on her way to a family-friendly lunch spot. People couldn't believe it. And then there was that infamous moment in Beverly Hills when Kanye himself was caught pulling down Bianca's tights right after a meeting. The clips had social media in shock. Add to that her stepping out in a metallic silver bikini top with just a thong bottom, leaving her entire backside exposed for the cameras. And who could forget the sheer bodysuit that was basically see-through from head to toe? Fans were like, how is he gonna tell Kim anything about North when Bianca's walking around like this? So now, instead of this being just about Kim's choices, the whole situation has snowballed into a Kardashian West family drama that people can't stop dissecting. When Bianca was out with Kanye, it got to the point where she was literally holding her phone over her lap the entire time just to block the cameras. People said if she moved it even a little, the paparazzi would have caught her completely exposed. And if that wasn't shocking enough, who can forget Kanye's big return to the Grammys after a decade away? That night, Bianca showed up covered in a massive fur coat, only to strip it off dramatically and reveal a completely sheer dress with no bra, no underwear, nothing. The whole crowd was stunned, and the internet nearly broke. But behind the scenes, her family wasn't clapping. Reports claim Bianca's parents were horrified at how far the outfits were going. One insider even spilled that her parents were so distressed because they don't even recognize her anymore, and said she would never be doing all this unless she was under someone's control. That's when the whispers about Kanye's influence really started to snowball. Allegedly, some of her loved ones even staged an intervention, begging her to pull back from these extreme looks. Her mom, Alexandra, reportedly flew all the way from Australia to Los Angeles, desperate to save her daughter from what she saw as Kanye's grip. The drama got so intense that people were speculating about what was happening behind closed doors. And then there's Bianca's dad, Leo. According to sources, he's furious and wants to sit Kanye down face to face to ask him what in the world he's thinking parading his wife around like a half-naked trophy pony. The wildest part? He wants to flip the script on Kanye, asking him how he would feel if his own daughters, North or Chicago, were being encouraged by their husbands to wear these revealing looks in public. Leo reportedly believes there's no way Kanye would ever allow that for his girls, so why is he pushing it onto Bianca? The contradiction has people saying Kanye's probably not the one to call when it comes to protecting North's image. At this point, people are saying Kim doesn't just need criticism, she needs a full-blown intervention. And yes, plenty of folks argue that North's situation is completely different from Bianca's, since Bianca is a grown woman making her own choices while North is still just a child. And honestly, they're not wrong. The concern here isn't just about fashion. It's about childhood innocence, boundaries, and the long-term impact of being styled like a grown-up when you're still growing up yourself. That's the part that's making parents and professionals lose their minds. But here's where things really hit the fan, because guess who's allegedly weighing in on all this? Beyonce. Yep, Queen Bey's name has now been tied to the drama, and according to whispers, she is not here for what Kim is doing. Rumors claim Beyonce feels like Kim is basically pimping out her daughter by letting her wear mature outfits and parading her around like a mini adult for the cameras. Whether it's true or not, just the idea of Beyonce being against Kim is enough to set the internet on fire. Fans are now speculating that Beyoncé secretly agrees with the critics who say North should be allowed to just be a kid. playing, learning, and growing without being styled like a pint-sized superstar every time she steps outside. The accusation is that Kim's chasing clout at her daughter's expense, especially now that North is building her own huge following online. And if Beyoncé's name really is connected to these comments, it takes the whole debate to another level, because when Queen Bey speaks, the world listens. Supporters are also pointing out that Beyoncé has always been fiercely protective of Blue Ivy, shielding her from the spotlight until she was ready. They're saying there's no way Beyoncé would have put her daughter in these same situations, and that's exactly why the alleged comments are striking such a nerve. If Beyoncé truly feels this way, then the pressure on Kim to rethink how she's handling North's image could get very, very real. But wait a second. Are people forgetting the drama that just went down with Beyoncé and Jay-Z over Blue Ivy? Not too long ago, they were accused of over-sexualizing her after she stepped out in a strapless gown with a full face of makeup. The internet blew up with folks saying she was being styled like a 17 or 18-year-old, way beyond her age. Critics argued that just because a celebrity kid can dress up like an A-list star doesn't mean the world should start treating her like one. And the bigger concern? That Blue Ivy might be learning early on that attention and praise only come when you look sexy for other people. That's the type of message experts warn can seriously mess with a young girl's self-image. So of course, now some fans are saying Beyoncé should sit this debate out altogether since she's faced similar backlash with her own daughter. They're basically calling her a hypocrite for allegedly throwing shade at Kim, while her own parenting choices have sparked the same conversation. But not everyone was dragging Bey. There were also loud defenders who came to her rescue. One person clapped back hard, writing, "What is wrong with all of you? She no longer has the body of a child. She is becoming a young woman and aspires to look like that rather than a little girl. That's nature. Why do you all choose to shame her for wanting to grow up? This kind of judgment doesn't exist for boys. It's misogyny, pure and simple. Leave her alone," another defender added. North literally covers up every single day, and the one time she shows a little skin, y'all lose your minds. And then there was the blunt response, "There's nothing wrong with what she has on. What do y'all expect kids to dress like? Nuns?" So now the argument has turned into a bigger cultural war. On one side, people say Kim is pushing North too far into the spotlight and stealing away her innocence. And on the other, fans argue society is just overreacting and projecting outdated standards onto these kids. At the end of the day, the real question is whether Kim is crossing a line, or whether the public is. So now we're left with the million-dollar question. Does this all come down to Kim simply letting North express herself, or is she knowingly setting her daughter up for the same kind of controversial spotlight that launched her own empire? With Beyoncé's alleged disapproval hanging over her like a storm cloud and fans ripping apart her parenting choices every time North steps outside, the pressure isn't slowing down one bit. In fact, the scrutiny is only getting louder and the conversation keeps snowballing with every new outfit, every new appearance, every new post. But here's what everybody really wants to know. Is Kim actually pimping North out for clout? Or is the internet reading way too much into this? The divide is sharp. Half the world thinks Kim is shamelessly molding North into her own mini-me for fame and fortune, while the other half says people are just projecting, making drama out of nothing, and refusing to let a young girl explore her own style. And with every rumor, every whisper, and every headline, the stakes get higher. Because once Beyoncé's name gets tied to something, oh, you already know the conversation isn't going away anytime soon. So now, I want to hear from you. What do you think? Is Kim truly exploiting North, or is this just a case of people blowing things way out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I know you've got opinions on this one. And don't forget, make sure you like, share, and subscribe because this celebrity drama is only getting messier and you don't want to miss what's coming next. I'll see you in the next one and make sure to click the video popping up on your screen right now for even more jaw-dropping celebrity chaos.